Hello, and welcome back to episode 8 of our Baten Kaitos Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean playthrough. The last time we left off, we were in the Ancient Library of Magic. So I'll read this little synopsis. After Queen Corellia refuses to help, the party departs to find the End Magnus themselves. They learn a certain witch has returned to the Ancient Library of Magic. So in our last episode, we cleared the Library of Magic, and we opened the door using the headmaster's books. So before we go through that door, I just want to note that after this dungeon, you're going to be classing up a few characters. I think Callus is already classed up to 40 in his deck, but we'll be classing up Shella, Liud, and Gibari. And Liud in particular, up until this point, unless you're particularly gifted with funds, you'll have some trouble filling his deck up with attack Magnus. So I would recommend while you're in the Library of Magic, if you plan on using Liud, which he's really good when you have a heavy like dark element or light element, he really packs a punch when it comes to those. To go through this dungeon a bit more and fight the books, they'll drop cornets for him, and two with Shella, the books will also drop some magic Magnus, and for Gibari, they'll drop yells. Yells are really helpful for Gibari because he's primarily winds, and the yells that you'll get here are Wind and Chronos. So I would recommend doing that. I passed through it a few times. However, Liud is still going to be a little behind on his Magnus collection. So at this point with your deck, I wouldn't really worry about Callus too much. You're going to get a lot of Ray of Truths from this dungeon. However, they're less helpful than other Magnus because you need to do a combo of 2 to use them. So you'll always have to use another weapon before you use this Ray of Truth. So we're going to do some deck management before we go through that door and fight the final boss in this area. And the final boss, I'm not going to spoil it before we get there. He uses dark and fire. So we're going to take Liud out of the party and put Gibari in. And we're going to focus on water and light cards. So for Callus, I'm going to take all of his fire defense out and replace it with these water defense that you'll also get in this dungeon. I'm not going to replace his dark because we need to like delegate these amongst Callus, Gibari, and Liud. So next, and I'm going to sort this so I can see it better, I'm going to put some more Ray of Truths in his deck, so I'm going to take out these sabers. I don't want any more than 5 Ray of Truths at a time. And then we're just going to see what else we can put in here that would give us a better advantage in this fight. I'm going to take his bananas out and replace it with a strawberry. And if they don't have like status effect cures, you could do resist if you plan on using the healing items to block as well, but I don't really like doing that. It's just a personal preference. But if you do use the healing items to block, they will resist the status ailment. However, I prefer ones that cure. So Shella, we're going to take out all of her fire attacks and replace them with water. Going to prioritize the 2 level 2s. And then we're going to leave the light flares. I'm going to take her Chronos out, and I'm going to also replace it with water. And then I'm just going to upgrade her healing items to the strawberries. The strawberries rot fast, but while you have them, they're the best items to heal at the moment, besides fish. So I'm trying to balance her blocking items with items that won't counteract each other. And then Gibari, we're going to focus on water. So I'm not going to put his Dark Scepters into his deck right yet. I'm going to focus on the Wave Blade. And that's about it. He'll be helpful like that. We're just going to make sure his healing items are up to par. So I'm going to replace his Aqua Yell with his Dragon Uppercut, just to add an extra water special into the mix since I'm only bringing one of Shella's. Oh, and I left the spot empty for Callus, I guess. Whoops. We'll add an extra Ray of Truth for this fight, but we'll take it out when we get to the next dungeon. So now we're ready to fight the next boss. There's a lithograph on the wall next to the door that says Head Librarian. Looks like this is the last room. Okay, let's go. So full-on hits hard. You're going to want to take him out as fast as you can, which is why it's very important to augment your deck to his weaknesses. He does have an attack times too.
ゃんかさ、そいつらも。そうこなくちゃ面白くないや。でも、これはどうかな。どうだい？これがマルペルシュロの力さ。
マルペルシュロの力。
そうさ、まだまだ不完全だけどね。呪われし神の力が解放されたらこんなもんじゃないよ。その時選ばれた僕らは不完全ないびつな殻を脱ぎ捨てるのさ。
そんなことになったら
変革を恐れる愚か者はさっさと滅んでしまえばいいのさ。それが歴史の必然ってものだよ。さあ、おしゃべりはもうやめ。お前たちはこれでおしまいだ。逃げられちゃったか。まあいいや。今日のところは見逃してやるよ。だけど、今の攻撃はってまさかね。普通のやつにあの技が使いこなせるわけがない。あれを使えるのは
余計なことを。もうちょっとで奴をぶちのめせるとこだったのに。
あんたは確か
滝の村へ来い。お前たちを抱えていくのはごめんだ。
危ないところをありがとうございました。
大丈夫かみんな。
ええ。
僕も問題ありません。
ああ、俺も平気だぜ。ああ、分かってるって。お前がヤバい時は俺はもうアウトだよ。それにしてもあの野郎、マルペルシュロの力だって。今度会ったら必ずぶっ飛ばしてやるからな。
あの人、山に住んでるハンターって言ったかしら。どうして私たちを。
フォロンというやつの攻撃を平気で跳ね返しましたね、彼女。
よし、それじゃ行くとしようぜ。その滝の村ってのに。
Okay, so it's time for us to do the next dungeon, which is the Holoholo Jungle. That one's also like Nunkai Valley, so we want to get to the east end, but first we need to get a stone. We cannot get through that jungle without getting that stone that you remember when we met the headmaster at the school. She told us about. It's called a landmark stone. So we're back at the School of Magic and we're going to talk to the headmaster here, or the principal. I knew you'd come. Actually, I know everything. You wish to travel through the Holoholo Jungle to get to Apu, don't you? Take this landmark stone. It will enable you to get through the jungle. Huh? That look? You don't believe me? Don't take me lightly just because I'm young. Go now. Alright, so we've got the landmark stone now. We're gonna level up before we get out of the city, and we're also gonna go to the store, and then we'll tackle the Holoholo Jungle. The Holoholo Jungle is actually quite simple. It's just a little annoying because you can't quite see where you're going. I'm gonna check how many fragments we have as well. When I get 5 fragments, I like to turn them in here so that I can get some Magnus. So we only have 4, so I'll hold off a little bit. But I'm also going to equip our better items. Okay, so now we'll go to the store. And then we'll prepare our deck for the Holoholo Jungle. So we're still a little strapped for cash. We're gonna buy some dark items to pad our decks a little bit. And then we're going to buy just a few healing items. Perfect. So for the Holoholo Jungle, there's a mix of light and dark creatures in there, and then primarily water. So we're going to take Gibari out of the party and put Liud back in. And then we're going to set up a more of a dark and light balance deck with also fire. So I'm going to take the heavier or the lighter water armor out of Callus's deck and replace it with that 20 defense flame mail. I'm gonna keep this defense 65 so you can see that it's like you subtract the water damage by the regular damage, so 65 minus 39 would get you under 20. So if you do that math, it's not really helpful to have this against a water creature, but it'll help enough against other types of creatures. So we're just going to leave 4 in there and then use our best judgment when to use them. I'm going to take the, I think, 6th Ray of Truth out and replace it with this dark sword. And then we're going to replace a long sword out with this marvelous sword. And Callus is pretty much done. He's super easy to manage. Shella, we're going to have to do some major work. So we're going to replace all her water with fire. Focus on the 2s, of course. And then we're going to take out all the lower level light and replace them with higher level darks. And now we have 10 cards that we can place in Shella's deck. So at point of 40, I like to keep at least 4 or 5 healing cards in the deck. I count the camera as a healing card. So Shella has 3, so we're going to give her this to heal poison and this to cure sleep. And then we're going to pad her deck with some more attack and defense. We're going to start with defense. So at this point in the deck, I like to have up to here with defense cards. So we're going to add 1 more defense card. Oh, I'm sorry. So I like to have up to here in defense cards for Callus and Gibari who can defend themselves with their weapons. So we're going to go up to here with defense cards for Shella. So we're going to add 3 more defense cards. So we're just going to add the highest ones. So I think that the Shakos are the highest defense that we can get for her. But we may not have a lot of Shakos is the problem. So we have the feathered hat, the heat robe, and then the leather hat. And as we do more dungeons, we'll get to level those up. So for the final cards in her deck, we are going to add another special. And then we're going to add 2 Chronos and 2 Wind. For Liud, again, he's gonna be our challenge. So we're gonna do armor first. He needs work here. So his healing items are pretty okay. We're not gonna touch them. We're gonna touch his attack weapons and his armor. So we're gonna go here and also sort by armor. The good thing is that he can also wear Callus's armor sets. So we're going to give him some fire armor. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to see where we're at with armor. We want him up to here. So for the last 3 sets of armor, we're going to give him Crystal Mail. And then we're going to give him Sforzando, which is his dark attack. And pad the rest with attack cards. So this is a good spot to have him in right now. As you get more attack cards, you can replace these yellows if you'd like. And he'll have a nice balance of light and dark. Just make sure that if you have a character with a balance, that you're not using the same element each turn with an opposite element, because they'll negate each other. Oh, I forgot to do Gibari's deck. So we're not using Gibari in this dungeon. We're just going to pad his deck. So we're going to put armor up to here in his deck. So 3 pieces of armor. We're going to use the kite shield and the crystal mail. And then he needs, he's good on healing items, so the rest will just do attack items. He can also use those as defense. So it's not like a huge issue if he's got a bunch of attack items in his inventory. Or his deck, I should say. So now we'll save. Remember, defend against losing your progress by saving often. And we'll make our way to the Holoholo Jungle. It's over here on the right side of the map. As you can see, it's very hard to see what you're doing here. You can talk to this man if you want, but he's basically just lost. So it's hard to see where you're going. We're going to make our way left first because there's some chests that you want to grab in here. Okay, so it's left and up for the first section. Horrible shuffle this turn. Alright, so you'll come around here and fight this little turtle guy. I'm curious to see how much damage this does because of the light swords. Yeah, see? So we did 130 dark damage because 81 of our light was canceled out. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss a path. So you can go down this ladder and go to the left. You'll fight this turtle. Okay, so on this next screen, you'll curve down a bit after we fight this plant? Question mark? Oh, oops. And then down here, you'll get our first chest, which is the ice crystal buckle. There's nothing else on the screen, so we're going to backtrack a little bit. And then there's another chest right here. So this is silver earrings for Lude. You're going to go back up the ladder and head right. Alright, we're going to fight this little plant guy up here. Just for funsies. Oops. Mistakes were made. Sometimes it happens. These guys are really fast. Okay, so you're gonna want to go down this ladder before you go anywhere else. Go down this ladder and to the right. There's a plant creature right here. Right, up here to the right, you're gonna find not one, not two, but 6 chests. So we're gonna open these for a Brave Knight Helm, a Wind Yell level 1, a Heat Paddle, Equelis, a Fire Burst level 3, and Smash Tackle. Lots of love for Gibari over here. And then there's a skeleton warrior that we can hang out with. Okay, so we're gonna go back up the ladder and to the right. There's no more chests in this dungeon for us to worry about. Where are we? Okay, we're up here. So we're gonna go fight this, the lion plant guy. Alright, going down and to the right. You'll see you're at the bottom of the screen now. We have exited Holoholo Jungle. So it's a short dungeon, but it can get a little confusing because you can't really quite see where you're going. I'm going to end this episode here as a little treat for episode 7 being super long. And I'll catch you guys next time on our Baten Kaitos playthrough. Bye!